What's up, everybody? It's your boy Adam. It is May 18th, and I'm uploading a video recorded yesterday that I'm gonna make it go live at some point. I've got time. I have to go. Well, since this video isn't gonna go live until after the first of the month, today. So the 1 year anniversary video that I posted will be posted today, but if you're watching this video, it'll be after the fact. So today, if everything goes well, today is the 1 year anniversary of the first time I uploaded a video to YouTube and hit play. Made it live. 1 year anniversary as of now. And today is the day that I have scheduled to go over to throw money down on a place to live at the first of the month. I have 2 more weeks, or, actually less, but 2 whole 7-day weeks or something. 2 weeks from today, I should be moving. Today is Sunday. So 2 weeks as of yesterday, I should be moving. Oh, man. Which reminds me, I'm going to have to take the day off from work to do that. If it's Saturday, yeah. Not a big deal. I got plenty of time to make sure I get that day off. I could even substitute. I could actually get myself some hours that week if I wanted to, and just say I'm taking Saturday off, but I'll work another day that week or something, because I don't know, whatever. Doesn't matter. Point being, I should be making it official today that I'm moving on the first of the month. Unless something goes wrong. I have to go get money orders, because I don't know how to pay the guy, and I want to pay him. I would like to just write a fucking check and be done with it, but nobody takes a check anymore. Which I can understand the potential for fraud, but I mean, there's 2 weeks between now and the end of the month. That's plenty of time to make that deposit and make sure the check clears and comes out of my account. And, but whatever. It's just, nobody's comfortable with that. So I'm going to go take out money orders in the amount that I need. And so, unless there's some dumbass shit where they won't give me a money order on Sunday, or who knows, because these fucking places around here are nuts. So, but I should be able to get a money order to get this done. I'll have to ride my bicycle over there, so it shouldn't be a big deal. Get the money orders, then roll over to the apartment. It's a little house. It's a little shotgun house. It's way bigger than what I'm living in right now, but it's not huge. The guy that was jerking me around about the really nice garage apartment, I haven't heard a fucking word from him. Didn't get a word from him yesterday, but I crossed that shit off. Just the way he was jerking me around for over 2 weeks, it's not worth it. Not worth it at all. What's he going to do after you move in? What's he going to be like after you move in? He might actually be, he might be a bad one to rent from. He might be crawling up your ass on a regular basis to, nitpick this or nitpick that, or, just criticize everything that I don't know. It might not be a good idea. So, this place, the move-in costs are lower, and it will help me keep enough money in the bank to take care of some things. I should be able to get one of those mini washer and dryer things that run on regular. One of the washing machines you can basically stick in a bathtub, so when it drains, it just goes down the drain. And they're small, so you just set it off to the side when you're not using it. Or you could, there's different ways to set these things up. I've seen it. I've seen one used. I've had my clothes washed in one before. They're not horrible. It's better than going to a laundromat by far. And for the money that it would cost to get them, I'm not even worried about it. So, I may have to go to a laundromat for a couple of weeks. Or maybe not. It just depends. There is going to be the first month is going to be a pain in the ass. The first month after a move is a nightmare in every way. It's not. It was here. Every time I move, this will be the 5th time in a year. Every time you go somewhere new, it's a pain in the ass for about a month. And then you get used to it and things settle in. You find out all the things that you have to buy that you didn't know you needed to buy. You know, just all that crap is going to happen. I have a plethora of things on my plate today. There's a guy in the comments section who offered to send me a car. Like, no joke. I'd have to pay for the car to be brought here. And somebody else saw that and offered to pay for it. And I'm like, I'm in shock. Like, it's so crazy that a couple of people just popped out of the woodwork wanting to help out a brother in need. And I'm like, okay. I mean, I don't think I have a choice but to say yes if people are going to be generous like that. I mean, it's still a risk on my part because I'm still going to have to, there's money I'm still going to have to pay for all of the things that need done. There's going to be sales tax and registration fees and license plates and insurance and if anything needs to be done to the car or whatever. But this is just talk at this point. But I'm not going to say any more, but that's going on. And I have to reach out to like 2 different people there. I'm behind on emails that I have to send out to people. It's just, I just hope I really truly hope that getting into a new place is a catalyst to helping me focus on what I need to focus on. And not, this place here where I'm at right now I can't focus when I'm here anymore. I could at first to a degree, but with all the drama and the nonsense here, this place is so awful. In so many ways, I'll talk more about it after I move. But there's so many things about this place that are just awful. Awful. I mean, it's just the only word I can use to describe it. There are so many there are so many different things. I'm just going to have to I'm going to have to take a few notes and just do a video from beginning to end of what it was like living here, the things I didn't talk about. I'm not kidding when I say me and my cousins could have built a better fort out in the woods when we were, 10 years old than this guy did building a fucking tiny house to rent to people. It's so fucking crazy. Oh my god. It's so out of this world. And for what he's going to charge, I can't wait to see him. He'll probably find somebody to rent it. But for what he wants to charge now, it's not worth it. When you look around and you see what other things are available for the same price he wants to charge for this, nobody's gonna look at multiple places and see this place and put it on their list, especially when every other place they look at's the same price. When it was 150 to 200 bucks cheaper, then it was okay. Now it makes sense to come and live here. But he thinks this place is on par with other stuff that's available, and it's not. It's not even close. I've looked at 5 places, all 5 of which blow this thing out of the water. And they're not much more than what he wants to get for this place after I move out. It's going to be funny to watch what happens. But I'm not going to watch what happens. I'm going to walk away from this and never think about it again, I hope. And just move on with my life and have a better life. If I do end up getting a car because somebody just wants to be generous, the store, well, it was in the comments section on a video. I gotta dig it up from a few days ago, a couple of days ago, something like, I don't even know. Everything this week, everything is so chaotic right now, I can't keep track. Look at me, I can't even look in the camera right now. I'm literally staring straight into space. Just a dead stare. Just giving you guys an update, but just kind of like thinking about everything that I need to be thinking about or have on my, or address in some way, and it's too much. It's too much. Getting out of this place is the best move for me, because this place has been nothing but a giant ball of stress. It's toxic. It was good at first. It was never good, but it was good, and I could deal with it at first. But then every aspect of living in this place is April 3rd. April 3rd, when the guy came threatening to throw me out at the end of the month unless I agree to pay more rent, even though he still hadn't fixed the hot water, and it would be another month before he fixed the fucking thing. It'd be a whole nother month before he fixed the hot water, and he's demanding more rent when he won't even do that for three fucking months. And just all the stuff I've learned, everything. Oh my God, get me out of here. I don't want to open these windows. I don't want to open the door. I don't want to talk to anybody that lives here. And I don't really have anything against anybody else that lives here in the main house. He's got 3 people renting a bedroom in that house. And it's just that house, it's so it's so weird. It's such a weird situation. It's just, this place that I'm moving to, it's a piece of land. I don't even know the whole thing. I should look at it on Google. I've looked at it on Google Earth and satellite view and whatnot, but it's basically, there's 2 of these shotgun houses next to each other near the front of the property. One of them's been rented out for a long time. The other one's brand new. That's the one I'm gonna get. Often behind all of that, I saw campers set up, and I think at the back of the property there's some sort of house. And so it's like a guy who lives there with his family, and they have these couple of things that they rent out. and it's kind of like a self-sufficient, I wouldn't call it a homestead, but I would call it like what I'm referring to it as. So, um, I can tell that's why they haven't rented this place out yet, because it's, but like that garage apartment that I looked at, it's the same concept. You're on somebody else's property, landlord's right fucking there. You know, like it's not like you have that much separation, but the apartment itself is so nice that people are just probably climbing over themselves to move into it. And that's why the landlord's jerking people around. I guarantee you I'm not the only one he jerked around. I would assume everybody that looked at it who could afford to move into it was like, yes, I'll take it. And now he's got a list of 20 people to pick from, and he's going to pick the one that seemed that he liked the best. And I have a feeling what those qualifications would be. And I'm just going to, I'll save that one for another day. I have a strong feeling I know who he wants to pick. Like, I don't know the exact, I just know the characteristics of who he would want to pick to move in there. Just based on what I know. And, but it's the kind of thing that he can't say out loud without getting in trouble potentially. So he's just going to he's just going to jerk people around until he picks the one he wants, and that's that. This place isn't bad though. I was planning, I mean, I felt like I could do better, and I could, especially if I gave it another month, I could probably find something better. But it's like anything, you're always going to have pros and cons. You know, this place has a lot of pros. 3 out of the 5 places I looked at can't get fucking internet. That was a mistake on my part, wasting time without checking to see what internet was available in the first place. But I didn't know how. I was relying on the word of the landlord, and turned out that what they told me was wrong on all 3 accounts. And which that tells you what you're facing after you move in terms of who you're dealing with. If somebody made a comment on the channel that, you know, people are just going to be friendly with you until you move in because they're trying to, duh. Of course they're just going to be, that doesn't mean they won't always be friendly. But yeah, of course when you meet somebody for the first time and they're trying to sell you something, they're going to be friendly. And then after you move in, they might not be so friendly anymore. This guy here, it's not worth talking about. But it's where I'm at. I got a lot to do today. I'm glad. I was supposed to go on a 80-mile bicycle ride. I would have had to leave already, I think. Well, no, I would have had to leave about an hour from now. So it's about 9 o'clock in the morning. I would have to be on the road at 10. And I would be getting there at 2. I'd probably be there a lot before 2. But the problem is I could get there by 2, but I wouldn't be able to, I could get there probably by 1 o'clock if I left. 40 miles, you're looking at about 3 hours maybe. but I need to give myself time in case of flat tire, Google gives me bad directions, etc. I could get halfway there with no problem at all in terms of directions from Google because I go to the bakery all the time. I know I don't need anything anymore for that route. I go on a route once or twice and I don't have to be told again. Once is usually enough. Twice it's locked. I don't need a map anymore. Even going to Whole Foods, and well, yesterday I figured out I took a different route home. I found something that I can do that wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. So I have to take the Route 45 access road to get across Spring Creek sometimes. And I found an alternate, I have to take that road 100% have to take it to get across the creek. But I can get on that road right before I go across the bridge, and then as soon as I get across the bridge I can get off and take another way home. And I thought I'd be backtracking for a long distance, but it turned out to be not so bad because I had time yesterday and I'm just like, I'm going to explore. And so, and plus I wanted to see, because one of the companies that I keep getting asked to go submit my resume to, it's 4 miles away from where I live right now. I wanted to ride by and see it. Like, I wanted to see it from a different angle and see like what's back there, if you want to, for lack of a better way to explain it. But so basically I'd have to go south and then zip over here and then come back down to where I live on the road that I normally take to get home from the bakery. And it definitely added at least 2 miles to my ride yesterday, but it was very peaceful and tranquil compared to being on that access road and less dangerous. And I'm like, a lot of times I'll choose the longer route if it's more chill for my own sanity. I would do that when I was in Jamestown walking places. I would take a longer route to walk somewhere if the streets are quiet and peaceful and I'm not listening to loud traffic and just being annoyed the whole time. And so I do the same thing on the bike. And so I figured out from now on that's what I'm going to do if I have to go that way to come home. And so in my mind now, I know exactly what way to go to get to, if I have to do Amazon returns at Whole Foods again or go that way for some other reason, I can go down there, do what I got to do, and find my way back home without using a GPS, and I know how all the roads connect now. Even if I did make a wrong turn somewhere, I could probably figure, just learn something new at that point. So that was kind of fun. I mean, as much fun as I ever have anymore. That was interesting too. Anytime I take a new route or zig instead of zag, or go south, or instead of left go straight, that kind of stuff, just see what's there, see if it works. I'm always interested in that kind of stuff just because it just accumulates over time, and like your knowledge of an area. I like knowing my way around and all the little ins and outs. It's how I got to know Pittsburgh like the back of my hand, because I used to ride my bicycle everywhere. And You learn things when you're on a bicycle that you don't know or notice when you're in a car. And so you combine all the cycling around town with the driving. And, over time, I mean, I swear I don't think I can think of a street I haven't been down. Because if you're on a grid or anything that has multiple ways to go, you're always, especially on a bicycle, you'll get bored going the same way every time, so you'll switch it up. And you're like, oh, what happens if I go down this way instead of that way? And, you learn things over time that you discover things, and it's just, I don't know, it just makes your day more interesting. Um, so yeah, I should be moving in 2 weeks. The stress, 80 miles today would have been a nut. It just would have sucked. 40 miles to get there. Even if I got there at 1 o'clock, I might still have to wait until 2. Then I'd be getting back at like 6. And after an 80-mile bicycle ride, do you think I'm going to feel like doing anything tonight? Productive? No. And then I got to get up at 5 in the morning to do it all over again. I'll be tired enough just from waiting around until the afternoon today, riding 2 miles to a grocery store to pick up a couple of money orders, riding over to where I'm going to move to, taking a look at my place, maybe take a few photographs, do a little walkthrough or whatever, and just take some photographs and maybe take a tape measure and measure some things so that I can, kind of get an idea of some things. Take note of how big the water heater is and how much water it holds. Like, just little things little things. I know there's no closets at all in that place from what I remember. It's just open space and open rooms. So like, what do I, just trying to get an idea of, I'm going to have this much money when I move in. I can set aside a little bit of money to help liven up the space. And just, settle in. It's bigger than this place, but it's not so big. Like, if I moved into that garage apartment, it was so spacious that everything that I have brought to that place would make the place look empty. This place is a little bit smaller, so it's not going to look empty. But it's like all the things that I have stored in totes and things like that are going to be out and about. Like, there's no closet, there's no place to store things that isn't in the open. So I got to figure out, like, how am I going to set up a space so that it looks good and, makes me feel like a home. I don't know. It's all going to just have to figure out itself. And, I'll figure it out as I go. I don't plan on being there. If it's a 1-year lease, I'll be there for a year and gone. If I can somehow if this whole thing with this getting a car works out, and it seems like it would be a pretty reliable car. It's a mid-90s Honda Accord. Those mid-90s Hondas are pretty reliable. I mean, that was a Honda Civic or something like that. That's been on my list of cars that I would consider buying. A Toyota mid-90s, all the way back to from anywhere in the 80s all the way through till early 2000s and beyond. I'd get a Toyota, Camry, Celica. I don't know. I mean, anything that's like, not going to be beat on. But they're pretty reliable. Hondas, pretty much anything the Japanese made in that time period are okay. I'd get a Jeep Cherokee XJ, not a modern Cherokee, not a Liberty. A Wrangler, it would have to depend, but Wranglers are overpriced. Um, you can get a box. I just saw a Cherokee yesterday. It looked almost brand new. I want to say late 90s, 1995 to 2000, somewhere in that range. XJ Cherokee. It looked brand spanking new for $5,000, and it was nicely equipped. It wasn't overly modded and off-roaded, but it had some nice tires on it. The fenders were they weren't cut back, but they were the tires were big enough that they took the plastic off the fenders, but it didn't look bad. It looked beautiful. But $5,000 for a Cherokee, those things are pretty indestructible. I'm telling you, I owned one. You could not make the. You could not. I owned one of those for more than 5 years, and I swear to God, the only thing I ever fixed was a water pump. Had to replace a water pump in 5 years. I was in an accident once because I slid down a hill in the ice, and I messed up some stuff, but the insurance paid for it. I had full coverage on it when I bought it. I forget what was, but it was fine. After it was fixed, everything was fine. There was no problems at all with it. But when it was stolen, it was pretty severely damaged, and it wasn't worth fixing at that point. And if it was an insurance, I did not have full coverage by the time it was stolen. I dropped it down to the bare minimum coverage because at that point you're paying for insurance that all they're going to do is give you the blue book value of the car or less if you get into an accident, because they're not going to pay for it to get fixed. And at that point, I'm not going to get back that much. I'm paying more for the extra coverage in the span of a year than I'm going to get back if in the event it's necessary to file a claim. And so, but yeah, a car. I'm already thinking about like what life would be like having a car. It would be amazing. Like just being able to, I'm going to go to Galveston today and hang out at the beach. Or like that bicycle shop that's looking for a full-time mechanic. Like if none of these other job opportunities work out and I actually had a car, I could inquire about a bicycle mechanic job in Galveston, and I could drive down there and meet them. And if they decided to hire me, that's going to be a nightmare to drive there and back from where I live. That's a long drive. That's over an hour. It's about the same amount of time to drive there from where I live, probably, as it takes me to get to my job on my bicycle now. So time-wise, it wouldn't be a lot different. And on a little four-banger Honda with a stick shift, gas mileage is probably going to be in the 35 miles to the gallon, something. That would be my guess. So I'm not going to be like burning tons of gas, but that's a lot of wear and tear on a car to drive that far on a daily basis. But that would only be until I find a place to live that's close to that shop. And I have a feeling that this place that I'm moving into now, I could make it so that things are flexible enough that if I gave them a month's notice that I'm going to leave, they would be okay with it. I get that impression. We'll see what happens today. But having a car would open up. Having a car would mean I can work at the bakery more hours and also have the energy to do my freelance stuff and do things on the side. I could work closing shifts at the bakery now. I could go in, I could work on my freelance work all day long and then go work 6 hours for an evening shift, or I could do I could do an open to close on Saturday and not care. Just get there when they open, leave when they close, work 2 days a week, but work work 24 hours in a span of 2 days a week, and then have the rest of the week for what I do. There's so many possibilities that I'm thinking about just having a car would open up. And it feels like it's totally worth pursuing this. I don't know how much it would cost to have a car delivered here from as far as that is. That could be really pricey. But I mean, what does it cost to have a moving truck deliver your stuff the same distance? It's probably about the same price. So that might actually, I don't know. There's possibility in the air. I still haven't been ghosted I didn't hear back from the recruiter on Friday about the job that I'm supposed to be getting an interview at next week. So I expect I would get an email or something on Monday. But I'm still kind of wondering if I end up with a ghost email or a standard form rejection email, or maybe I just never hear from the recruiter again and get ghosted, and even if I reach out and call, I end up getting a ghost, because that's what I've come to expect. I just don't see how I'll get past this situation where they're going to do a background check. One of the things that fucked me, that I'm upset with my lawyer in certain ways with this case, because the prosecutor offered to give me the same deal that I got in a sentence, but I would only have 2 counts on my criminal record. The rest of the counts would have been dropped. And which meant that I would have paid a $200 fine, and when you do a background check, there'd be 1 count of 2 different crimes. Now I have 14 counts when they do a background check. But my lawyer swore up and down that it was a shitty deal. Don't take this deal, it's bad. I can probably get you time served and you'll get to go home. She was like, I would suggest doing what I did, and I ended up getting the same sentence from the judge, except the only difference in my sentence was the number of counts on my conviction record. And now people are looking at this, oh my God, 14 counts. They don't, that has a factor in how people view what I did. Even though it's bullshit, they took 7 social media posts and charged me with 2 crimes for each one. 7 of the posts were what's called stacking, where the DA or the prosecutor just throws shit at the wall hoping it would stick. They stack charges that they know won't hold up in court, because then it's on the defense attorney to get all of those dismissed. And you're really only fighting 1 charge, or maybe 2 counts. The rest of them are just there to make it harder for you to win. And so I guess I was of the mindset I want to go home. And I'd already been in jail for over a year when August, September, October, November, December, January. I'd been in jail for 7 or 8 months when this deal was offered. And the 24 months. But see, another thing my lawyer did was drag this case out by filing motions to extend. If I had been sentenced to 24 months a few months into this case, then I could have gone to the federal prison system, where I would have earned 10 days off my sentence for every month that I'm there. And I would have probably come home in, I probably would have been home by the time I got sentenced. Like, I was sentenced in October of 2023. I probably would have been able to come home by then. Or it would have been, I'd have to do the math, but you don't start getting First Step Act credits towards your time until you're actually at a federal prison. And so for every day, like I said, every month that you're there, you get 10 days off your sentence. And so if I had been in a federal prison 6 months, so 6 months, so for a 24-month sentence, every 6 months you get 2 months off, essentially. And so you got 60 days off for 6 months, so this makes it 8 months. I would have months off of my sentence. I mean, it's all under the rug now. You can't go back. Hindsight's 2020, I guess. But my lawyer was really confident that she could get my sentence. Like, she was confident she could get me time served, or get it so that I'm almost gonna go home. And I ended up getting the same sentence. Now, things could have ended up worse if I had taken that plea deal, because I could have gone in front of the judge and the judge could have gone higher than the plea deal. And I would have had no chance to argue or tell my side of the story or cross-examine the prosecutor's witnesses or anything like that. And so maybe it was the right decision. I mean, I've kind of, I'm not that upset about this. But, like, I'll ask the AI bot. I've fed information about my case to the AI bot, Grok, and gotten some analysis of it. And it's actually really insane how intelligent the analysis is of everything it comes up with. It's really, I think that's the better AI bot. But it gives me some insight into, it said, statistically speaking, the jobs that I'm getting rejected for, if I only had 2 counts instead of 14, it would increase my chances of getting accepted in some of these jobs, but not by much. It might go up from like a 20% chance to a 25 to 30% chance I could get accepted to a company. Like, it was just kind of like, because the charge itself is what they're looking at, but when they see the number of counts, it's like, oh, fuck him. Because they don't see any context around it. They just see what you were guilty of. Boom, 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 boom. Threatening federal. They don't know anything about it other than what they see in front of them and what they read in the distorted, exaggerated news media coverage. It's just, the deck is stacked against me. But then, it's like I meet people all the time, who believe I got it. People all the time tell me I got railroaded, that I didn't deserve the level of punishment I got, that I didn't deserve, the not getting in trouble at all. Nobody agrees with. You should have got something for that. But what happened to you is way beyond what you deserved, and it was retaliation, and it was more of a, they made an extreme example out of me, so to make other people keep their mouth shut. and it was used to scare people. I guarantee you, I mean, I just looked up what happened to the guy. There was a guy in Butler, PA. I can't remember his name now. He threatened Donald Trump on YouTube. And he's got 2 counts of, 1 count threatening the president of the United States and another count of some other crime, the same crime, but he's got 2 counts. And he had a detainment hearing, and the magistrate, the federal magistrate in Pittsburgh, detained him until trial. So he's probably either in the Allegheny County Jail or the Butler County Prison. Those are the 2 places that they normally hold federal defendants waiting for trial. So he's probably going to sit there. That was in April. So he's only a month into his bid. So he's going to sit there for... He's gonna sit there, I would say, 8 months. And then he'll get some sort of plea deal offered to him. And it'll probably be for 14... I bet he's out in 14 months. The maximum length... Now, here's a funny thing. The maximum punishment for threatening to kill the president is 7 years, but threatening an FBI agent is 10 years. You get less time, and your maximum punishment for threatening the president is 3 years less than threatening a federal official, a career official. I mean, whatever. They're not going to give him the maximum. I'm assuming he'll be out. I'm guessing 14 months. That's my prediction. And he'll be back. He'll probably get 3 years of probation. That's what I'm guessing. The AI bot didn't know who the judge is. I could only find news articles and stuff related to his arraignment, because it's the 3-day news cycle. After something happens, 3 days later everybody forgets about it, and they don't even report on the next thing. So that guy, he might get sentenced, and you might see a news article somewhere about it. It's big news when they arrest somebody like that, like they did with me. But when I got sentenced, it wasn't that big of a news thing. A couple of anecdotal articles in some local newspapers and whatnot. Like, oh, he got sentenced. Remember that guy we blasted all over the news, all over the country a year ago? Oh, he got sentenced today, and it was in a couple of newspapers. So it's hard to find information about what happens next in a lot of these situations. Because the media, they're on a 3-day cycle. It's just off to the next thing, off to the next thing. Let's see, James Comey, the former FBI director, threatened Donald Trump on Friday. That by Monday, that's gone. That nobody's going to be talking about that beyond Tuesday next week. That's in the past. Nothing's going to happen to him, because he didn't come right out and say anything. He just, oh, look at these seashells on the beach. That's neat. But, they're not going to arrest him for that. The governor of Michigan did it. She was on a CBS Meet the Press or some Sunday news show, and she had these little children's blocks stacked up behind her, and it said 8645. And a lot of people pointed that out after the fact, but she, it was just on her little bookshelf behind her when she was on Meet the Press one day, and a bunch of people who were sharp-eyed pointed that out. You know, Kathy Griffin or whatever, the comedian who held up Donald Trump's severed head on the cover of some magazine or whatever. You know, they can do that shit all day long. If I held up Joe Biden's severed head and put it on social media, I would have been in prison for 2 fucking years. So, you know, it's how it is. If you're famous, if you're rich, you get away with more than if you're just some doofus that has no money that they can just railroad you into the ground and ruin your life. It's how they keep everybody in line. You know, we got hundreds of thousands of people talking shit this week. How about we go arrest that guy, put him all over the national news, ruin his life, destroy everything, put him in prison for 2 years, and that'll shut everybody up, and it did. I bet everybody shut the fuck up after they saw that happen. So that's why I'm just like, once I get into a rhythm where I can do my freelance uninterrupted and, you know, good internet connection, quiet place to work, all the stuff I need that I don't have here, no threats from the landlords, you know, all that. I'm sure there will be problems when I move. I can't imagine that it'll be all hunky-dory and no problems, but what's going on? The phone cut out, ran out of space. There seems to be like a 10 gigabyte ish something is bloated up my phone. I analyzed it. I used to get about 60 gigabytes of free space. Now it's like 48. So it could be apps I've downloaded. It could just be memes. It could straight up be I've downloaded too many memes, taken too many photos. Photographs can take up a lot of room. So I just have to take an afternoon one of these days and back up as much as I can on my phone, do like a phone cleaning day, and try to recover to where I have 60 gigs of free space to for these videos. But that's not a lot of difference. At the rate I'm recording videos right now, it fills up the phone in 2 days. Today was day 2. When I was homeless, it was the same kind of thing, but a lot of times when I was homeless, the videos weren't as long, and I was only doing one recording a day, so I'd get more days out of it. And secondly, I was going to the library all the time, so it really didn't take much effort to plug my phone in and just delete it, and transfer everything from the phone on a regular basis. I was uploading the videos directly from my phone to YouTube, so it was just a backup situation where I would just, however many days it seemed right, I was constantly trying to keep the phone clean. But there were some folders when I just looked in the backups, and there were some folders that were 60 gigabytes in size, and I'm like, that sounds about right. So when I did let my phone fill up all the way, that's about how much it was, and now it's about 48 gigabytes. So there's about 12 gigs of space that I need to figure out what it is, and it could easily be images. It could be lots of different things. It could be lots of different things that are small that all add up to 12 gigabytes. Not a big deal. It's just I have to clean this phone off more than I would like. This particular phone does not have an SD card slot. If it did, I would have a 250 gig card in the phone, and then when the card is filled, I could just boop into the computer and get everything off of it quickly and put the card back in the phone. So, when I buy a new phone, it'll probably have a card slot. or some sort of expansion. Most Android phones have that. iPhones don't, because they want you to buy their cloud storage. But there's a million other online storage options that are better than that and cheaper. So I am just going to try to keep my cool right now today. I just got done texting the new landlord, so I am supposed to meet him in a couple of hours. In fact, 2 hours. So I'm going to shave up and take a shower and start getting ready for that. I have to ride my bicycle over to the store, get a money order, or actually two, to pay for the move-in cost. Just got to double check and make sure that's going to go smooth. I'll be in a lot better frame of mind when I get home. I was looking at the ads for the different places that I was looking to rent. I just wanted to see. I wasn't looking to change my mind. I was just curious as to what's going on. One of the places that I looked at has been rented. One of those cabins out in the woods that didn't have a good internet signal, one of them got rented. The nicer of the two. Didn't surprise me. It did take him a while to mark that as rented after I went and looked at it, but it was going to be this weekend that I would have made a move on that place if I felt like but once I found out I couldn't get a good internet signal, that was out. Would have been a nice, otherwise everything else was good except for at the same time the landlord was not going to provide any appliances. No, there was a stove, there was a fridge. If they don't work, it's on me to replace and fix. He said, to the extent, I'll come and get rid of them. If they don't work, I'll come and take them away for you. You won't have to be responsible for throwing them away. Yay! That's fine. I just the internet was the deal killer there. But I did get, so I noticed that the ad for the place I'm going to put my down payment on today was removed from Facebook. And of course my mind starts wandering. Oh no, did someone take it between Friday and today? Because I didn't check it between Friday and today. And so I think I looked at it a couple times on Friday to send a link to somebody to say this is where I'm going to be going. And so I didn't hear back from the guy for like half an hour today after I texted him. I just sent a text to make sure we're still on for the time and that we decided. And he's like, yeah. And so we're good. I'll breathe a sigh of relief once this is done today. I'll be happy. I'll be happy it's done. I'll settle in to I'll just be able to relax. I'll be able to relax. I know how much I have to go get in money orders. I have it. So, I mean, anything could go wrong, quote unquote, but I shouldn't have a problem. And once that's done and taken care of, I've got a place to live. I'll be able to tell my probation officer tomorrow. I'll send him a text while I'm at the bakery. I'll be able to start getting a hold of the electric company on Tuesday morning. That once I get the electric squared away and in my name and do everything that has to be done so that it's just squared away, and try to get a U-Haul reserved for that day. Once everything is squared away in that respect, I will breathe a sigh of relief and feel much better than I do right now. still a little bit nervous about all of it, and I think anybody would be in this point, but I just it is what it is. I just need to relax and just accept that this is the new future and it's good. I've got so many things on my plate right now that I have to do. I'm shot out mentally. I am so incredibly shot out is the right term for for my mind, for how I feel right now. It shot out. Shot out. Just mentally fucking blown. Glad that this process is over with and that I've accepted this will be where I go. This job lead that came my way, the even if I don't get the job, the timing of it, right at the same time I was about to go look at a place I was about to go on a bike ride for 80 miles today, 40 miles each direction to go look at a place. I would have had to go 20 miles to where I work and then 20 miles north of there. Literally ride right past the bakery, which is exactly halfway to where I was going to go today. But then I'm 25 miles from downtown Houston right now. And I've come to the conclusion that if this job that this job I have not been excluded from yet. If this turns into a job where I actually have to go into Houston to start working for this company on a semi-weekly basis, I'm going to have to rely on a bicycle, at least figure out if there's a park and ride situation where I can ride a bicycle and park and ride a bus the rest of the way in, which the only reason I would do that would be because I'm going to have to carry a laptop or something like that. And I'm going to have to, if this did turn into a job, I would have to get some good panniers for my bicycle that are waterproof, padded. I would have to have a proper secure, safe way to carry a laptop, especially if it's not mine. A change of clothes, and whatever else I would need to go into a job like that, plus all the things to repair the bicycle if something goes wrong with the bike, flat tire or what have you. So a park and ride situation might be good just to avoid having to risk doing that on a bicycle. If I could ride 5 miles to a park and ride bus stop or something, that, and just have to make sure I leave with more than enough time to be there on time. But, I don't want to think that far ahead because it's not here yet. But I think that even if I don't get this job that I'm supposedly in the running for, at least in the running for an interview, which could, from what this recruiter said, she said if the interview goes well, they tend to hire people really fast. It just doesn't. I have a hard time believing it's going to go anywhere, but at the same time, it was enough to make me think twice about moving to a place that would be a 70, 80 mile ride from Houston on a bicycle. If for whatever reason I have to go into the city and I don't have a car yet, even if I have a car, being 20 miles farther from the city 40 miles farther from the city than where I am right now. 60, 70, 80 miles to have to drive to go down there for something might cause me to lose out on an opportunity down the road. So it's kind of like I've just decided to stay here where I am right now. It's not exactly where I want to be. It would be more convenient to live in the city where there's more roads and more opportunities to bike safely and different be closer to things. But I don't want to live in the city. I would love to live out in the country, like some of the places I was looking at. But it just seems like the best thing to do today is to go get this lease taken care of and get her done. Get it done. Get that peace of mind. Get a document signed that says, here's my new place starting the last day of the month. And then make sure I get up bright and early on Saturday on the last day here, which is the 31st is a Saturday, at which point I will have to possibly make an adjustment to my bakery schedule to maybe work a couple of other days that week and take Saturday off. They won't have a problem, but it would be nice to, just leave on the last day of the month, put the keys on the table and be like, I left the keys in your lockbox. Good luck, homie. It's all nerve-wracking. It's nerve-wracking. It's unnecessarily nerve-wracking because of the level of stress this guy's put me through and the shady things that he's done and all of it. So, at the end of the day, I'm just gonna do what needs to be done. I just want to get this over with. It's almost 1:15, and I said I'd be there at 3, but it's not. It'll take me half an hour at the most to go to the grocery store and do that part of it. Another half hour to go to the place. I really don't have to leave until about 2, but I kind of do have to start getting ready now. So I'll do that, and then I'll add to this video later on when I get home and I can relax. And to be honest, I don't even think I'm going to relax. I don't think I'm going to be able to get rid of the knot in my stomach that I'm feeling until I move in and I'm able, because there's so many things I got to do. I got to get the electric hooked up, and there's so many things that wouldn't normally be stressful to somebody who's not in the situation that I'm in. But I've got to get an electric company to hook up a utility in my name when they might rake me over the coals and make it extremely difficult. Poor people have a hard time with shit like this. I've got to rent a moving truck. They might give me a hard time. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm nervous, but I don't think I need to be. It's just mentally, I'm shot. This is killing me. I should have been able to stay here for 2 more months, starting next month, and probably start looking for a place the beginning of June. So, we're almost to the point where I would have been starting to look for a place anyway, but it should have been a smoother transition. It should have been different. And this 4 months that I've been living here has been absolutely awful. It's an awful 4 months. This is the worst place I've ever lived in my life. The worst place I ever lived in my life before this was the first place I lived in when I went to art school in 1994 when I was 18 years old. And this place is worse than that. Except for it has air conditioning. So it's all I got. I'm going to let you go. I'm going to go do what I got to do. Later. Peace out.